All right, so I've got a lot of bigger, more involved projects that I'm working on right now. So I don't really have a lot of time to work on a video. So I thought now would be a good time to kind of revisit some of the older videos where all I did was just kind of make a poster design and take you through my process. So this is just going to be a quick video where I take you through my creative process in making this poster. So let's get into it. All right, so luckily I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to do with this poster. I wanted to do something with legibility. That was just kind of what was on my mind on this day. And so I thought, we'll just start here. And I thought kind of the first thing that popped into my head, at least as far as kind of making things illegible, was to just flip it all the way upside down. So I figured that would be a good place to start, and then I could figure where to go after that. But of course, since it is legibility, I thought it'd also be good to explore kind of taking the typography and then maybe switching up some of the fonts for some of the different letters, just making it a little bit more crazy or interesting. I wasn't really a fan of how it looked at the end, so I just ended up scrapping that idea and keeping the typography the same as how I had it before. Now, getting back to the poster, the next thing that I wanted to work on was some of the kind of finer copy that would be in the poster. And I was just kind of moving around this text box of some copy, just trying to see where I liked it or where I thought it might be interesting. I was really struggling with where to put it. You know, did I want it to be upside down, just like the larger type? Did I want it to be in the middle of the poster, above it? I didn't really know. And so I kind of struggled of just kind of throwing some different ideas around and seeing what I liked. Eventually, I ended up just kind of scrapping the kind of paragraph of text, and I just went with this one line, and I just kind of centered it. For some reason, that was just a lot more interesting to me. One of the things I did do that was a little bit different than what I might normally not do was to take individual words from that sentence and then kind of flip them. That way, if you're looking at it, it's almost like you have to read it backwards for just one letter, which I thought was interesting, and once again, played into like it being illegible. But once I had that kind of figured out, I wanted to see if I could bring in some different elements, some, grunge textures and stuff, and some of the kind of shipping labels that I've made, just to see if maybe I can make it a little bit more interesting, not so bland. I played around with especially a lot of the shipping labels that I had, but honestly, I just didn't really care for them that much in this poster. It just kind of felt like I was trying to make them work into the poster, but they just didn't really fit. And so I would eventually just kind of scrap those and go without them. So at this point, what I did is I actually brought that sentence down and then turned it 90 degrees so it would be up and down rather than left to right. I thought that was a little bit more interesting. And I felt like it also made a little bit more sense with the composition that I was making, especially with those lines, that grunge texture, because it has that one line that just goes right up the middle. And so I thought that would be a good way to kind of bring attention to it, as well as kind of lock those elements together where you have the typography at the top, you have this kind of grunge elements on the bottom, and then right in the middle you can have those words. But that also got me thinking that there might be a way to kind of incorporate some more copy into the poster. Because I had that line there, I thought maybe if I put some copy kind of to the right side of the poster in the same general row, I guess you could say, as that kind of original sentence. So that way I'm just kind of validating that type being right in the center by having something else that's also kind of in that area or kind of blocked in that kind of grid, if you will. And then after that, again, I wanted to just explore once again the kind of main type in the poster. I thought maybe I could do something a little bit more. And so I was just kind of exploring flipping things in different ways or, you know, inverting things or switching things. The only thing that I ended up actually doing that kind of made a big impact was instead of having it being, you know, completely horizontal, I just added a little bit of a tilt to it. That way it kind of matches the lines at the bottom. I thought that was a little bit interesting, and also made it just a little bit harder to be, you know, legible. So still played into, you know, things being illegible without it being, you know, too crazy. But I think really I just like that it's bold. So even though it's, you know, slightly illegible, there's still like that, you know, bold typeface that you can still read once you kind of understand that, oh, it's upside down and I need to read it in a different way. And I think that's kind of what I'm going for, is kind of just giving people just an inkling of what it's like to kind of read something that's illegible, and kind of showcasing that it can still be legible even if it's kind of pushing the boundaries. So even if the type is upside down and slanted, there's still a way to read it. Yes, it takes you more time to read it, but it's more visually interesting, so you might actually take more time to read it because you want to understand what it is, rather than it kind of being, you know, how you would normally lay out typography and it being kind of boring. And it's like, well, why would I want to read this? Because it looks the same as any other poster. That's pretty much the point that I wanted to make with this poster, and I think that helps enunciate it. But after that, pretty much done. And here's the final result. Honestly, this is one of the few poster designs that I've actually worked on where I have some sort of idea of what I want to make whenever I'm going into it. So it was a lot of fun to make, and I think it helped me kind of explore some ideas more, because I actually had some kind of concept of what I wanted to do in the poster, rather than it being kind of one of those, I'm just going to open up Photoshop and we'll see what happens. And so I think because of that, I was able to make a little bit more educated decisions, because it's not just, oh, well, that looks interesting. It's like, oh, I'm trying to say something. So I specifically want to make choices that kind of reiterate what I'm trying to say. But overall, I'm happy with how the poster came out. Maybe it's not the most craziest design that I've ever done or something like that, but I like it. I like the bold type. I like the red. The photography looks interesting. Got some small, you know, kind of textures and typographies. So overall, I'm just happy with it. But I'd love to hear what you think. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you think I could have done something different? Let me know in the comments. And of course, if you found this video helpful or entertaining in any way, I'd appreciate it if you would check out the rest of my channel and then consider subscribing. Hope to see you in the next video.